Hi there and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the first vlog that I have filmed in years, at least for YouTube. Even though I have had this YouTube channel for going on 5 years now, I have switched up so much what my content has been. I've been really inconsistent on my YouTube channel. I have switched up through so many different niches and different interests of mine, and so there probably aren't that many of you that have been here since the beginning of my channel. But when I was living in Southern California like 3 years ago now, that's when I used to vlog all the time on YouTube, and I really miss vlogging. I feel like capturing your life and what you get up to in any way, shape, or form almost helps to encourage you to romanticize it a bit more and to like really put yourself out there and do more fun things. So in today's video, the first vlog back on my channel, we are going to be putting the finishing touches on my home library, which I have behind me, and on my home office. My birthday is in a little bit over a week now, and over the past couple of weeks I've been really telling my boyfriend that I wanted our spare guest room that had a air mattress taking up almost the entire thing up until now to become my home office. And lo and behold, for my birthday, he completely funded getting me all new furniture and helping me put finishing touches on the space. And so I've already done some setting up of this space, but I wanted to do the fun bits with you. So we're going to be building a bookshelf today, which doesn't sound fun, but it's going to be so cute when it's finished, and a couple of other things. So let's go ahead and get into it. No, because I'm actually gonna cry. I am so grateful for my man because he just makes all of my desires come true, and sometimes I have to pinch myself and be like, oh my gosh, how did I deserve such an incredible man? But then I remember that I have spent years doing the inner work to become an energetic match for the kind of partner that I have, and I'm like, yes, I deserve this, I deserve this, I've done the work. Okay, I am gonna give you guys a quick little tour of this office now that it's pretty much set up, but I also want to give a little bit of an explanation. So I am dating a man in the military. We are fully planning on getting married at some point. That's his call. I know he's going to propose when the time is right, and I am very familiar with the military lifestyle. And to make a long story much shorter, we are probably going to be moving within about a year and a half, and we are also very likely to be moving somewhere abroad, which is very, very exciting. However, that being said, we have been very intentional about purchasing things for this home because we don't want to buy things or put a lot of effort into this house just to leave, but at the same time we want to have like a nice quality of life while we're living here. So while you'll definitely see more of this house throughout future vlogs, you'll notice like there's not a lot of artwork on the walls. Actually, there's no artwork on the walls. There are rooms that are like barely used or just have very like minimal furniture, and that's because it's just enough to keep us comfortable and having a nice comfortable life. But for us, 18 months is not long enough to justify fully decorating a place. And the reason I wanted to give all of that premise is because there are some elements of this room that I don't enjoy. I really don't love this like dark gray blue paint color. It's fine. This dresser was here when I first moved in. I think Scott brought it with him when he moved in, and it's okay. What I like is how spacious it is, but I don't love the color of it. And then here on the wall, I might end up putting up some wall art because I have a lot of decorative pieces and wall art at my parents' home in Montana. And so this room, while not perfect, I am so over the moon and so pleased with the fact that I'm sitting right in front of a window. I have 2 lamps on my desk now. I have a desk now. I have a filming backdrop. I have my clothes in here. I'm calling it my cloffice, which is not a term I came up with. It's closet office. And so let me do a really quick tour of it, and then we'll talk about some other stuff. So let's get into it. Okay, so when you are entering the cloffice, this is what you see. There is a cat And then there are my bookshelves and my desk setup. It looks a lot more like warm toned and inviting than what I'm seeing on the camera, but that's fine. So I ended up finding all of the furniture actually on Facebook Marketplace because I really didn't want to, one, build more furniture than I absolutely had to, and two, invest that much into furniture because we're probably gonna end up selling it anyway before we leave, because hint hint, where we're going next has notoriously much smaller living situations and houses than in the United States. And so this chair is a boucle chair that I picked up at like a random furniture warehouse here in Kansas City. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this right, but I have wanted a boucle, I'll put the word on the screen, chair since forever. I think they are just like the perfect mix of cozy and inviting, yet still chic and classy. And then this little bear is like part of my Valentine's Day gift from Scott. And then this chair I found on Facebook Marketplace. I love that it's like this beautiful dusky rosy pink color. And then desk, again, Facebook Marketplace. These were Amazon. Hopefully you'll be able to see that on the camera there, but I really wanted to have specifically this type of lamp. It's super popular on social media, but I love that it's little and it doesn't take up a lot of desk space, because I knew I didn't want like super tall lamps, and I knew that I wanted two of them because if I only had one, then the lighting wouldn't be even for filming. As I was setting all of this up, I was watching a little bit of Sense and Sensibility, which is one of my favorite movies, and then this monitor and keyboard are all brand new. I've been using Scott's monitor over in his office, which has been fine, but again, this is a much nicer filming background. And then just got this computer mat off of Amazon, and I am just so pleased with how all of this has turned out. And then over here we have my closet. If you follow me over on Instagram or TikTok, this is not new, and if you've been following me for even longer, you'll know that I only keep a very edited selection of my clothes out at any given time because it really prevents me from having to make too many decisions in a day and therefore dealing with decision fatigue. This dresser isn't all that exciting, but I love how much stuff fits in it, and you know what, it's not worth replacing it, which is why I'm glad that I found this bookshelf, because you can't really tell on camera, but in real life they're somewhat similar in color, so it kind of looks intentional. And then up top I just have my sunglasses, my jewelry box, my perfumes, and then finally we have the super exciting, arguably my favorite part of the whole room, my bookshelf, aside from my desk. Like, now that everything on the desk is set up, I am so stoked about this. I can already feel how much more productive and like energetically aligned I'm going to be with my work and with my coaching, because I haven't had a great office setup, and then therefore I haven't had a great one-on-one coaching setup, which is a massive part of my income. And how I help women is through one-on-one coaching. And so if you want to sign up for one-on-one coaching with me, now we have a much cuter setup. I'm so excited to show this off to the girls that I work with and get all excited, because some of you guys are also BookTok girlies and also like romantasy book lovers, so we can go over what's in my bookshelf next time we do one-on-one coaching. I just want to do a quick like once over of the bookshelf and go through it really quickly. So there is so much debate online, especially in like BookTok spaces, about how to organize bookshelves. Like, people will do it by author or genre. I have done something that I haven't seen anyone else do, which is I have organized my bookshelf by season. I am a seasonal reader. I have a very hard time getting into a dark gothic fantasy in July. I have a very hard time getting into a swashbuckling pirate fantasy in December. I like to read by the season. And so this will probably change over time. Oh my gosh, I have the big light on just so you can see better, and big lights in rooms are just never flattering. Like, and so at the top we obviously have ACOTAR. I do want to start the Twisted Love series by Anna Huang, I believe. I don't know anything about this. All of the fan art and like stuff that I've seen online about this is that it's kind of like girly spring vibes, so that's why it's up here. These are my tarot cards. I'm probably not going to keep them up here when I get more books. This bookshelf I feel like does look kind of empty, especially at the bottom, but at the rate I'm consuming books, it won't be a problem for much longer. These butterfly bookends I'm absolutely obsessed with. I just picked them up from Amazon. So this second shelf here are books that give me summer vibes. So the Crescent City series definitely gives me summer vibes. Same with Dune. Obviously it's set mostly on a desert planet. The Great Gatsby is set in the summertime. The Song of Achilles takes place on the ocean, like in the Mediterranean, so summer vibes. And then these next two shelves, we have Throne of Glass and like a bunch of other books down here. These are my autumn shelves. I don't know why, but Throne of Glass definitely gives me autumnal vibes, even though it takes place over like multiple different climates. And then here we have The Cruel Prince series, and then Ruthless Vows, Divine Rivals, Twisted Crowns, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. All of these give me autumnal vibes. And then we have down here my very small section of wintry books, and I have some marble bookends at my parents' house that I cannot wait to bring back. And this is not all of the books in the Witcher series. There are more of them that I need to pick up, and this is my current read. So I'm just decided I'm gonna put my current read on my brand new bookshelf. And then this is the bookshelf that I obviously just built, and I really wanted this specifically to house my self-development books, is what I'll call them. I have them kind of sectioned off by like, this is financial self-development. I call this my feminine energy section, and then this is like manifestation down here. This is my inner work section, and then this section is like motivation and leveling up is what I call it. It's kind of like books that'll kick you in the butt, like Atomic Habits. And then obviously I have a lot of room left over here, which I'm not mad about, because I don't know if I'll fill it up entirely with self-development books, but I am reading at such a fast pace that I know that this will fill up pretty soon, and then I will be filling this up as well. Oh, Pickles just burst his way in. You want to come in? My man just got home, and he's a very private person, so I closed that door so he wouldn't be in the vlog. But the last thing I wanted to talk about tonight is I am going to be branching off into a new niche. I actually have done a couple of pieces of content about this before, but I am such a reader. I mention it sometimes when I'm talking about like being in your feminine energy or like connecting to your favorite hobbies. I am obsessed with reading, and I dabbled a little bit with quote-unquote book talk content earlier in 2024, and I kind of dropped it because I just feel like my content was like all over the place and really scattered because I was trying a bunch of different things at that time. But I feel like in the past like 3 months or so, basically since the start of 2025, I have really found the content that I enjoy making and that you guys enjoy watching, specifically over on my TikTok, talking about feminine energy. And I want to bring back my series Feminine Energy in Fiction and Fantasy over on my short form content platforms. And reading is such a big part of my life, especially reading like fantasy books. And for so long, I've kept that part of me mostly offline ever since I dabbled with it in 2024 and it like didn't do very well. But I've just realized, you know what, even if it doesn't perform super well or as well as like my self-development content, it's a huge part of my life that I'm very passionate about. Most of my favorite creators, whether they're self-development people or like fashion or lifestyle, they have multiple niches. Like one of my favorite creators right now is Laura Reads. I'll put her accounts here. She has like a book account and a home account. I kind of wish she would just combine the two because I love everything she puts out. She does home content, she does lifestyle, and she also does book content. And so many of my favorite creators will do multiple things, or specifically like 2 things that they really focus on, like self-development and lifestyle, or cooking and fashion, or travel and something else. And that just proves to me that that little voice in the back of my head that's like, oh, if you start posting more about reading, like people aren't gonna like it. No, that's a limiting belief. I'm literally a feminine energy inner work and manifestation coach, and so yeah, I'm gonna be talking about reading more on my channels. And so stay tuned for that, because I definitely think there is space within the self-development and the reading communities online for a girl like me to talk about both. I think that there are women who love reading fantasy and romantasy and also crave self-development. Days before the TikTok ban, the 48-hour TikTok ban or whatever went into place, I think it was actually 24 hours, a series on my TikTok did very well for me, and it was about identifying the different feminine archetypes. And one of the things that people loved the most about that series is that I gave so many examples of different women that are real and not real, you know, fictional characters or like real life celebrities, and other examples of different women who fall into different archetypes and why. And I love pop culture, I love reading, I love movies, I love TV shows, and I think that that might be my niche that like helps carve me out, aside from like just being a book talker or like just being a self-development coach, is I want to combine both. I love watching and reading media and analyzing it for what the themes are, what are the inner work tools that the characters could benefit from, like how are they using their feminine energy. I just do that stuff naturally, and so why not film it? Why not make content about it? Because obviously I'm very passionate about it. So I would love to know in the comments like what you think about this. If you are also a fiction and fantasy reader, like women are so multi-passionate, and that's like one of the best parts about femininity and feminine energy in my opinion, is like women tend to be more than just one thing, right? Talking about feminine seduction archetypes, if you're familiar with them or you've seen my series, or I actually did a YouTube video about it, my feminine seduction archetype is the sophisticate. And that means that on one hand I am very strong in my lover archetype energy, and on the other hand I'm very strong in my sage archetype energy. And the sage loves to learn, she loves to read, she loves to analyze things, and so this is so integral into who I am as a person. And I know there's room for this like new sort of niche on the internet, and I'm gonna be the one to fill it. And I would love to know your thoughts about any of that down down below. So with all that being said, I'm gonna go pick up my book and hang out with my man, and I'll see you guys later. I just wanted to do one final check-in before I end off this vlog. We're going to dinner in a little bit, and I was originally planning on wearing like a birthday dress and like doing something more special with like my hair and makeup, aside from just like letting my natural curls air dry or my natural waves air dry and like barely doing any makeup. It's freezing cold outside. It is really, really cold. The wind is howling, and also we're going to a place called Lydia's in Kansas City, which is my favorite restaurant in Kansas City, and it is like the best Italian food I've ever had in my life, which I never expected that I was going to experience that in Kansas City of all places. And so every time that my boyfriend and I have been there, we have basically crawled out, because they have this dish that's like unlimited pasta. There's 3 pasta options and you get this massive plate, and it's all 3 types of pasta on the plate. And my goal there is always to eat as much as possible, because it truly is the best Italian food ever. It's probably one of my top 3 favorite restaurants of all time. Every time you put like the fresh made ravioli in your mouth and like a sip of wine, it's fabulous. And so I decided, you know what, it's my birthday, I can do what I want, and if this outfit, a big comfy sweater and some jeans, and not really putting much effort into my hair and makeup because it's just a gray day and I don't feel like it, that's okay. I feel just fine. So let's go to dinner.